I want to be the starting tailback, or a real-life example of assessment for learning. My name is Scott. I've always thought I'd make a good tailback. I decided to go out for the team this year. How hard can it be? On the first day of practice, they handed me the ball. I immediately fumbled it. I had no idea what I was doing. I knew nothing about how to hold the ball or what the offensive plays meant. I was terrible. My coach wasn't too excited about what he was seeing. Our team had another running back named Mark. He had been there the year before and knew more about football than I did. As the coach reflected on practice, he decided that Mark was at a B- level. He gave Mark some ways to improve. He decided that I was at an F level. Not too promising. He gave me a list of pointers, and basically, I needed to improve everything. The next day, I tried again. I didn't fumble, but I never gained any positive yards. The coach graded me at a D-. He told me what I had done better and what I needed to do to improve. Mark was still a B- rusher. The coach told him some specific things to work on to improve as well. Over the next couple of weeks, I kept getting a little better each day. At the end of every practice, the coach would give me a grade and tell me what to do to improve. The same was done for Mark. After 2 weeks, Mark had become a B+ running back. I had become a B-. The next week was my best week ever. The advice the coach had been giving me really seemed to make sense. I was finally getting it. We had a scrimmage. They gave me the ball. And I took off like a pro. I was running like I had never run before. I scored 3 touchdowns and had 285 yards rushing in only one half. Coach was so pumped up. After the game, he told me that I had reached A+ level. He gave me some additional things to work on. He said he had never given these ideas to any player before because no player had ever reached the level I had reached. I was now the best running back he had ever coached. Mark was still a B+ running back. Day before the first game, the coach announced his starters. He decided that Mark should be the starter. I was surprised because I was now an A+ level running back. The coach informed me that it wouldn't be fair to Mark not to start since he had been so consistent and had been there last year. He said that when he averaged together all the grades I had earned, I was only a C running back. He said that if he ignored all my poor efforts earlier in the season, it would set a bad precedent. Other players would begin to think that the early part of the season didn't matter. They might not worry about how bad they started off, but instead dedicate themselves and work really hard to get better. Yes, I was an A+ level running back, maybe, but how could he just ignore the fact that early in the season I was terrible? This scenario would never actually happen, at least not if the coach wanted to win ball games. The coach did an excellent job of AFL. He continuously provided feedback that allowed both Scott and Mark to improve and to know what it was they specifically needed to do to get better. The coach allowed Scott and Mark to take control of their own improvement. However, the coach's grading system got in the way of his own goals. He wants to help players get better. He did that with Scott and Mark. His team won't get better, though, because he hasn't thought through his grading and averaging practices. Why would someone let something like grading or averaging get in the way of their goal of helping young people learn? Visit salemafl.ning.com to learn more about AFL and to share ideas with other educators about how assessment for learning can be used to help students learn.